Okay, so if you go online and you stay up on topics like what's being put out there, mm, what I find kind of interesting is my experience, what happened in North Carolina. Christmas time, we were just thinking about Christmas. I mean, things that people do traditionally, Christmas trees, things like that. Mm. That's really the only thing I can take away from all this. Because to me, when I listen to all this, this is just it all it does is it blurs the top. The lines are blurred so much that I don't even know where to start with all this. Like, I don't think most of us spend our lives terrified by experiences. I would share with all of you that anybody that's going to get their hair done or makeup done or things like that, that's part of the job. Uh-huh. That's why we go to school. Uh-huh. When I went down to Burlington, I wasn't planning anything but just going to see family. The last time I saw my sisters and did anything with my family really is only during Christmas or Thanksgiving. And right now, might be the only Christmas and Thanksgiving time we might have as a family. So to me, it's like make the most of whatever time we have because I don't think we have all this time to meddle and sit here and fuss over things that happened in 1982. Really, we don't. Like, to me, if we're going to get our Christmas and our holidays and catch up and be a family for a change, I mean, look what they do. They regurgitate the past, something we've talked about several times. I don't know if I want to spend my time listening to people unfriend people on Facebook and social media. The problem is our social life has taken up more of our free time as a family that really I'd just rather find out what's going on at home. Really, I mean, by the time social media wears itself out, I mean, some of us just get worn out by it. I get worn out by the unfriending. I get worn out by the arguments. I get worn out because a lot of it's redundant. I mean, most of us probably at one point or another had somebody approach us and said something that was just inappropriate. What they're talking about is something, they're displaying this in public. To me, I don't understand why Washington, D.C. in itself is it's the beast. It's the belly of the beast. And to me, everything that goes on in Washington, D.C. is just what's ahead for America. You see the victim mentality playing out. And we're raising a bunch of wimps in America where the woman will say something and the man has to be subservient. And that's not the kind of America we want to be raised up in. What we need is a strong family unit where mom and dad both have a level playing field, where they both agree. When you have two individuals that respect each other and will look at each other and make decisions that what I don't want in my home is what I grew up with. Meaning, I want my husband or boyfriend or companion or vice versa to agree with me on something. I can't live the way we were living. We have to sit down and talk. We have to sit down and have a talk. We do. Like when it comes to selling property and belongings and things like that, like the first thing I'll tell you about divorce, it's not easy to separate the belongings. It's the kids, it's the family, it's what goes on in a separation and divorce. It takes a long time to get to the point you're ready to. I went through it in 2015, and I'm still recovering from a divorce. So to me, when I hear all these people talk about stuff that happened in 1982, it just becomes blurry. I mean, after a while, they're going to want to live and move on and live their lives and do things with their lives. Like, to me, experiencing life, it can't be all about being a victim of abuse. I can see where it might paralyze somebody. I can see why a lot of times victims who are approached or asked to do things, but after a while, you have to grow a thick skin. You have to. It's more about survival. Mm. Women who survive abuse and they survive. That's about all. There's nothing good that comes out of abuse, nothing, whether it be a man, woman, or child. It wouldn't matter if it was. Everyone in my family's been a victim of abuse, including the boys. All of us have been victims of domestic violence. We witnessed it or heard about it or walked home. And I mean, we're abandoned children who went through this. And I'll tell you, there's not one good day about being abandoned. Not one good day. There wasn't one good experience that came out of being abandoned. There's not one good thing about growing up without a parent being home. And I'll tell you what really scared me the most about growing up. Not having a reliable, stable income coming in. And I'm not talking about Social Security disability. I'm talking about having a full-time job with benefits, with the security and knowing that the electric's going to get paid, that the utility is going to get paid. That's the kind of household we need to run. Because I cannot live the way we've been living. I cannot live from paycheck to paycheck either. We need to know that we have a career and that we're going to make a living. And right now, the only source of income that we've been relying on is not going to always be an option. We have to be able to be self-sufficient, meaning the fact that my brothers are helping out is a good thing. This is a temporary. It's temporary. Yeah, they cannot do that. They cannot expect us to go out here and go to a crisis shelter or somewhere and have a man making decisions without at least talking. Cocktease. Randy, Mike T called you cocktease. Mike T called Jenny and these girls cocktease. Mike T's a dick. Mike T said somebody tried to shove Mike. Mike said, I think these dudes, these dudes are like, wow, Mike T said, I think actually Mike T is going to go to jail. What I would tell you is that when you're running a home, the utilities have to be paid on time. We got to get things back into order. We get things back to where they were. Just like when I was talking to the landlord in Kendall Avenue, we got to get things back on track again. We have to pay the bills. The bills have to be paid on time. We're on a budget. It's good to be on a budget. Where we're at now and where we're going at this point is another story. Mike T said, Mike T raped these girls. Mike T said, I actually, as far as any other interruptions at home, they're going to have to take their interruptions and go somewhere else. It's just that simple. They can't interrupt people at night. We have kids that are sleeping. We need to get back into a normal schedule. We got to get back into some kind of functional home. We got to have the beds put up. They have to cooperate. It's not a matter if it's a mandatory. They have to cooperate. For anyone to work together, they have to be willing to cooperate. Because all we see is people just bucking heads all the time. And it will not work. Okay? If they can't cooperate, then they're not going to be able to be in the same room, much more same house, much less same job. Yeah. And there are people that are confrontational, and there's no reason for it. None. The reason girls all have separate rooms and the reason they have locks on their doors, they're responsible for their personal belongings. They're responsible for all those items. If somebody is missing something, they need to make sure that that person gets a message or text message. They can't make decisions unless they contact a family member or somebody next of kin. If they don't know where the stuff goes, they have to contact a family member. if they don't show that they contacted a family member regarding belongings, they need to know why. It has to be in a written statement. What happened to the stuff in the U-Haul truck? What happened to the belongings? Have it in writing and send it over. Lauren is in jail. And everybody else that was making decisions in this, they have to be responsible for the outcome. If they're going to make a decision like that, then they're going to also have to pay for it out of their pocket. Gail Stafiore said, I'll actually help Lauren. I want Gail Stafiore to go to jail. I want Gail Stafiore to go to jail for interrupting my home and my family this long. Because Gail, you have not done anything to help me. You have been nothing but an antithesis to everything that's good in my life. Every time you say up, she'll say down. And I'm tired of Gail Stafiore. I'm tired of Gail Stafiore and Randy. I told Gail that's the last time. I told Gail on April 19th, that's the last time you're going to manipulate me.